Yeah, I think we are live. Hello and welcome to the Big Match Theory. I'm Mangesh. And let me start by wishing all of you a very happy Diwali. I hope you are having a good time, except if you are a Liverpool fan. I know that your Diwali is completely ruined. And yeah, as the title suggests, I want to talk about the latest Liverpool Manchester United game at Anfield. The final score, as we all know, was Liverpool 1, Manchester United 2, with Harry Maguire scoring the winner. And this was United's first win at Anfield since 2016. And it was Jurgen Klopp's first game as a Liverpool manager against Manchester United. And Wayne Rooney scored the winner. And as someone who grew up watching United thump Liverpool at Anfield most of the time, last decade has been slightly irritating. But I'm happy now. It's been 2 days. The game was on Sunday. And I'm still buzzing. And what I thought would happen after the end of the game was I fully expected Arne Slot to come out on the pitch and talk tactics. Because if you recall, last season, after thumping United 3-0 at Old Trafford, Arne Slot was talking to the Sky panel, and I think the panel had Roy Keane and Daniel Sturridge and Dave Jones, of course. And he was explaining United's tactical shortcomings. He did not do this time. What he decided to do instead is that he whined about United's low block in the press conference. And yeah, I still remember after watching Arne Slot explain tactics last season, a lot of Liverpool fans were just beaming with pride and the fact that they finally have a bald manager who is not a fraud. But that did not happen this time. But if you have to talk about the game, and I had to rewatch the game because while watching the game, I was just too nervous while watching it on Sunday. So I rewatched the game and I was amazed at how direct United were in that game. We were just too direct. Every time Lammens had the ball, he hit it long. And that happened right from the kickoff. So at the kickoff, Bryan and Mbeumo passed it directly to Lammens and Lammens kicked it. And that's how we got our first goal in the second minute, 60 second. And yeah, I mean, and of course, for the goal, Liverpool's defense completely fumbled it. And I thought that Virgil van Dijk, the greatest defender of all time, he was at fault for the goal. And what's been happening is Konate is in such a bad form and he's being made a scapegoat a little because in the last two games against Palace and against United, Van Dijk he definitely struggled. He looked shaky. So if you recall the first goal, Van Dijk committed when Bruno was passing it out wide to Ahmad, and he let Bryan and Mbeumo run behind him. And yeah, Mbeumo had a clear run, and there was so much space behind Liverpool's defense, and he scored the goal. So yeah, Van Dijk, and of course Konate is struggling, no doubt about it. And as Abhishek mentions it a lot of time, that his head might be turned by Real Madrid's approach. That could be the case. But in this particular game, when I watched it again, when you rewatch the game, you realize a lot of things when you miss out when you are watching it live. Because when you are watching it live, you are just too tense and you are just waiting for a referee to blow the whistle because your team is finally up front. And yeah, I mean, Van Dijk looked susceptible. He was, as I said, he was shaky against Palace as well. And he had an atrocious game, and Liverpool must be kicking themselves for missing out on on Gehi because Gehi is in absolutely fantastic form right now. He's been absolutely fantastic for Palace. And that can happen with defenders. Van Dijk has been one of the best defenders in the league, defenders in the world for the past 5 to 6 years. But he's 34 now. That can happen with defenders. That happened a bit with Rio Ferdinand in his later days at United. And it doesn't help when you are playing with someone who is out of form. And that probably is one of the things. But Van Dijk has to take some responsibility there. He looks out of sort, and I'm saying this because I'm stressing about him particularly. Because I remember there was this one clearance he made when he cleared it, and I think it hit Kerkez on his face. And when that happened, Van Dijk was really angry. And angry about what? I mean, it was Van Dijk's clearance. But as I said, I think something is missing there. And a lot of Liverpool players had bad game. I thought Kerkez had a really bad game. Mohammed Salah has been struggling for quite some time. He has scored probably four goals in the last 17 to 18 games in the league, including Community Shield. So he was struggling. I think Isak needs some time to settle in. Florian Wirtz, I think the same with Florian Wirtz. They will need some time to settle because it's a new team, and right now they are not firing. But I think the main issue with Liverpool right now, just hold on, let me check something. Yeah, sorry. But I think the main issue with Liverpool right now is they're going through a rebuild. And the team that Slot won the league with last season in 2024-25, he did not have to sign too many players. I think the only player he signed at the time was Federico Chiesa, and he barely featured in the league. It was mainly Jurgen Klopp's team, and what I think Slot did in that team was added an element of control. So, I mean, of course, they were pressing, but they were not pressing as much as they used to do when Jurgen Klopp was their manager. So, in that case, it was essentially Jurgen Klopp's team, and this is for the first time. Slot has signed a lot of players, and he's probably trying to find their place in the team, their position, how he wants to play with so many players in the team. Maybe he's trying to identify that, because any rebuild it takes time. So if you recall, in 2023-24, Jurgen Klopp signed 4 players. He signed Szoboszlai, he signed McAllister, he signed Endo, and he signed Gravenberch. So at the beginning of 2023-24 season, Liverpool played really well, and till 30th week, I think till 30th week, they were at the top of the table, and in the end, they fell off the cliff. And that can happen in the rebuild. At times, teams take time to adjust, and at times, after a good start, everything falls apart. Of course, things did not fall apart for Liverpool. They finished 3rd. They had a good season. They won the League Cup. But what I'm trying to say, that rebuild takes time. And that is not all managers' cup of tea. And if you talk about even the current managers, 2 of the best managers right now, Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho. Of course, Mourinho has passed his prime, but even Mourinho at his peak was not great on rebuilds. I mean, he always had 3rd Mourinho season. Mourinho always had that 3rd season syndrome. So Mourinho wasn't exactly big on rebuild. Same with Antonio Conte. So in 2016-17 season, Conte won the league with Chelsea, and the next season he's finished 5th, and he fell out with Abramovich, and he left Chelsea. and he left Chelsea for Inter, I think, at the time. What I'm trying to say right now is rebuilds are difficult, and Klopp was good at it. And to be fair to him, Pochettino did an excellent job at Spurs with his rebuild. Of course, you had Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger, who used to always rebuild teams all the time. And I'm not sure if Arne Slot has done it before, because of course he used to manage Feyenoord. He was manager of Feyenoord, and he stayed there for 3 seasons. And during those 3 seasons, I think in the first season they finished third. In the second season, he won the league, and in his third season, he finished third again, or probably he could have finished fifth in his first season. And later, after 3 seasons at Feyenoord, he joined Liverpool right away. So yeah, these are interesting times. So you don't know what's going to happen, and I think Arne Slot will get it right eventually. He has some really good players, and let's see how much time he takes. Or I hope he doesn't. I hope he struggles. I hope Liverpool lose a couple of more games. Nothing would make me happier, because I am a petty United fan, of course. So yeah, that's the thing. Let's see how he does. Maybe he needs some time. And yeah, it's and getting back to Manchester United, and this is our second win in a row, and I can't believe this. I can't believe I'm thinking of this as some kind of achievement, but this is our second win in a row for the first time under Ruben Amorim. And yeah, it was a good win, and there are a few positives from the game. I thought Lammens was really assured on the ball. For me, Cunha was game's best player. I thought Mbeumo was brilliant, and I read Andy Mitten's comment today that Sir Alex Ferguson used to say is that the players who perform well at Anfield are the real deal. And all these 3 players, in their first, I mean, it was Lammens' first game at Anfield. It was his second game at United. So yeah, he was really assured on the ball. And I am not going to say that United are back. But what I would say is that it was United's second good performance in a row. Because if you watched Sunderland game, it was a really good performance. There was a structure in a way we pressed. There was a structure in a way we attacked. I don't think that happened in games against 2 previous victories, against Chelsea and Burnley. I thought we were okay. I thought we were poor against Burnley. We were okay against Chelsea. And what happened in those 2 games was, I thought there was some good link up between our attacking players, but the team as a structure, I don't think we looked that cohesive. But during the last 2 performances, this team looks far more assured, and they look like a team rather than the group of individuals. And I know that a lot of people praise United after our performance against Arsenal, and I thought against Arsenal, our front 3, they were linking well. They have been linking well right from the first game. But overall team as a structure, we were okay. But of course, a lot needs to be done. But we can say that these last 2 weeks have been encouraging, to say the least. And yeah, as I said, there are some obvious positives. First is Lammens. Just imagine playing your first game at Anfield, your second game for United, and bossing it. And at no point we felt that he's going to make any mistake. He was, and I keep using this word, that he was so assured on the ball. He made a couple of good saves, and we forget he's barely 21, 22. So it was a huge test. It was a huge test for him, and it's fair to say that he came out with flying colors. He came out with flying colors. We have to give him huge credit for it. And yeah, and the anxiety I was talking about, we always felt that with Andre Onana. And it's not necessarily always his fault. It wasn't necessarily always his fault because he was a reliable goalkeeper when he played for Inter. But at United, almost it's like a black hole for all the players who are talented. In the last 10 since 2013, hardly 2 to 3 players. I think Herrera had a decent spell. I think Bruno Fernandes has been absolutely fantastic. But apart from 2 to 3 signings, most of the players they just could not perform. They just could not thrive in this environment. And we are talking about some top players. We are talking about players like Angel Di Maria. We forget that Di Maria, after leaving United, he won the World Cup. He won 2 Copa Americas. And he was instrumental in Argentina's success. He joined PSG. He was good for PSG. So yeah, so you have to give Lammens a huge credit for this. And then there was a front three, and I think front three or how they link up has been one of the biggest positives of Ruben Amorim's era right now, especially this season. And they link up really well. And Roy Keane said it on Sky that they had a bit of swagger about them. And if you're United players, you need to have swagger about them. I'm not talking about being arrogant, but having that self-confidence that a lot of great players have. And I was really impressed with Cunha because Cunha looks like a United player. He has that edge about him. He has that nastiness about him. And in my opinion, he was United's best player at Anfield. I know he did not score or assist any goal, but he did an amazing job of shielding the ball. He did not lose position. And yeah, as I said, from the front three, I thought he was the best of them all. Then you always have Bryan Mbeumo. He was constant threat from the right side, and he along with Amad Diallo, they link up really well from the right hand side. Apart from that, you always have, Mason Mount. A lot of people who criticize Mason Mount, but you need to understand that almost every manager he plays for, every manager trusts him. Thomas Tuchel trusted him a great deal when he was at Chelsea. Same was the case with Erik ten Hag and now Ruben Amorim. Because in my opinion, what Mason Mount gives you is he basically executes managers' plans to perfection. He doesn't do anything flashy, but he's always reliable. He always presses well. And I know that he hasn't been lucky with his injuries right now, but I hope he has a good spell because I think he is a very important player. Of course, Šeško will get his chance, no doubt about that. But currently, our front three of Mount, Mbeumo and Cunha, I'm really impressed by it. And one of the other things Mount does really well is he makes sure that other players with his passing, they are in a very good position, and he always does that. And apart from that, I was a bit worried when Amad was taken off because he's such a good player to have in such situation. And if you recall, he was the one who scored the winner against Manchester City last season at Etihad. He scored the equalizer against Liverpool last season at Anfield, and we could have won that game if not for Maguire's miss. But yeah, I was a bit worried when Amad was taken off. But again, it just shows us that us fans, we fans don't understand much about football, and the managers know a great deal. And but he's a good player to have on the pitch in such situations. And I have no complaints. I have absolutely no complaints. At times, we looked vulnerable, especially when Ekitike came on. I thought we were a bit shaky, and I was scared. And I'm always pessimistic when I'm watching United Liverpool games. But at the time, I feared that we might score a goal, we might concede a goal. That thankfully that did not happen. And I have to talk about an absolutely gorgeous assist by Bruno Fernandes, and because it was such a lovely assist. And is it fair to say that most of the players, they would have tried to control that ball before just pinging it, but he just pinged it and to an absolute perfection. And we had to say this is one of the best assists we have seen this season. And that, yeah, absolutely, it was a joy to watch. And Bruno was good as usual. But this takes me to the guy who scored the winner, and Harry Maguire. And this is like a redemption arc for him. And I couldn't be happier for the guy. And I'm nothing but respect for him, and for the fact that he's such a wonderful model professional. And I don't think any player has faced so much flack, or I can't think of any player who has been mocked so much in the past 2 years or so, past couple of years. And I have not seen him make any noise about it. I have never seen him complain. You never see him complaining. You never see him throw tantrums. And if you compare his behavior with, and let me make this clear, I absolutely love Marcus Rashford. But if you compare Rashford's behavior in this situation and Maguire's behavior right now, there is a huge gulf. There is a huge gulf. And I mean, this is not just United. If you recall, he was booed by England fans as well, and I have no idea why they booed him against Ivory Coast. And he was booed while he was playing for England. And you need a tremendous mental resolve to come back from that. And one thing you can say about him is that you will never see him not trying. He always tries. You can never say that he is not giving his all. Yeah, sorry. You can never say that he never gave his all. He always gives his all. And more often than not, he delivers. He always delivers. People forget that he was instrumental in England's recent success, or their good runs since 2018. He was a crucial part of their team when he played in World Cup 2008. They reached the semi-final after a long time for the first time in 1990. Then in 2021 Euros, he was excellent. He really had good Euros. And England reached the final. He also had a decent World Cup. He was very good in last World Cup, in World Cup 2022. So he has always delivered for England, and I have no idea why would anyone boo him when he's when he is putting on an England shirt. But yeah, I have nothing but respect for him, and same is the case for United. We forget that even Pep Guardiola wanted to sign Maguire from Leicester City in 2018-19. Sorry, in 2019-20. But we got him, and one of the reasons he gets mocked could be that his price tag of 80 million. But his 80 million price tag is not his fault. If the club decides to give him that much money for the player, it is not the player's fault, it is the club's fault. It is as simple as that. And he receives a lot of unfair flack. But even for United, and even if you recall, in 2020-21 season, in that season, he got injured in the end, and United finished second that season, and we lost the final of Europa League. And I really believe that United could have won that final against Villarreal. And we were bang average in the final, and there was nobody who could hold the ball. And this is one thing Maguire is good at, that he's good at playing from the back. He is good at making those passes to the midfield or to the midfield or to a front. He's very good at that, and that did not happen. And he got injured, and United were atrocious. And of course, he had his bad patch. No two ways about it. This is not to say that he's as talented as Rio Ferdinand or Vidic. He has its shortcomings, no doubt about it. But every time he puts a United shirt, he always delivers. He always delivers. Even last season, he scored that great. Scored that. I wouldn't say it was a great goal, but it was a great moment against Lyon in the Europa League. It was absolutely fantastic game. We won 5-4 in the end, and it was Maguire who scored the winner. He scored last season in the FA Cup. It was FA Cup against Leicester City. He scored the winner, and he does that time and time again. And again, as I said before, this is not to say he's the best defender in the league. This is not even to say that he's the best defender. He's the best United defender. Absolutely not. But he always puts a shift in, and that's extremely important. And I couldn't be happier for him. I'm super happy for him. And yeah, and that's about it. And these performances, such good performance against Liverpool that we had, and the Sunderland performance, I hope that these performances help us in the long run. There is a long way to go, but we have played this season's top four so far. So we have played against Arsenal, we have played against Chelsea, and my friend Rohit is saying something. Rohit is saying that I'm not going to slag Maguire off after an Anfield winner. He's a good squad player to have and an important leader as well. Just that he probably shouldn't be starting a bunch of games for United. I think Rohit makes a really good point. And for a change, it's good to see when Rohit is not ranting about Harry Maguire. But yeah, Rohit has made a good point that Maguire, he's a really good squad player. And I don't think he shouldn't be starting so many games for United. But at the same time, when you see so many managers trusting him, right from Solskjaer and Ten Hag to Ruben Amorim, there is something there that probably we fans don't see. And so, see, we have no way of knowing how players perform on the pitch or perform in their training sessions. And every manager picks players based on their training. And we have no way of knowing how these players perform when they are playing on the training pitch. But yeah, I think Rohit makes a good point. Even I don't think Maguire should be starting each and every game, but yeah, he has given us a winner at Anfield, and we are never going to forget this till our last moment. And yeah, Parth, wish you a very happy Diwali. Hope you have a good one. And happy Diwali to you too, Anish. Yeah, if there is, I think that's it for now. So on this positive note, I'll say bye. Thank you everyone for watching. Do like, share and subscribe. And happy Diwali once again. And see you soon. Bye. And before I sign off, as Rohit said that yeah, we are winning the league. Yeah, we might start believing that. You never know. Bye.